This conversation is brought to you by Modular, the payments automation platform. Hello, I'm Lindy Gooden. Welcome to the Future of Utilities podcast. Great to have you with us. Let's talk about home energy management with Emma Fletcher from Octopus Energy. Great to have you with us. How are you, Emma?
I'm great, thanks. Thanks for having me this morning.
Happy to have you on stage. First of all, just tell us a little bit about yourself and the work you're doing.
So my name's Emma Fletcher. I am the Innovation Director at Octopus Energy. My role really is to be the translation between what's going out there in the housing market, what we're doing internally at Octopus in the energy market, listen to both sides and really be that translation piece to actually come up with solutions that really do change the way we live and solve the problems of the green electrification.
In some ways, home energy management begins and ends at home. It's what we do as consumers, what we do as your customers. So what are the biggest issues or things that we care about when it comes to lower carbon? What do consumers care about and what gets in the way of us adopting?
I don't think there are many customers out there that think about lower carbon.
Right.
And that's the honest truth. Yeah. At the moment, everybody is feeling the pinch. It's all about their energy bills and how much it costs them to heat and electrify their home. So I think that for most people out there, they're thinking, how do I cut my bills? Yeah. How do I make sure I can heat my home over winter? Yeah. And how can I keep me and my family warm?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because they probably at least run in parallel. We might care in our own lives, but when it comes down to a choice, we make the choice that really matters to us, which is going to be about cost.
Nearly all the time. I mean, there are people out there, the early pioneers that want to try this technology, really understand how it works. Yeah. But I do think that actually most people don't want another app in their life. They don't want another thing they have to go and talk to or operate or think about. And particularly at this moment in time, I think there's just too many other challenging things in the world. So therefore, simple solutions that help me reduce my bills are a much more appealing proposition than talking carbon.
Okay, so now we get to bringing those parallel lines together a little bit. How can you shift it? How can you bring those little things into my life so that I can engage with low carbon, but also do what I was doing before?
So, really, we want people to think that this is a journey. They don't have to do everything straight away at the first time to their home. So for a lot of people, this is sort of like a big tsunami that's hitting them. They know they're going to have to do something, but the anxiety levels are huge. Yeah. So therefore, we're here to try and help our customers, first of all, navigate tariffs. It's really boring, but just get yourself on the right tariff. That means when you live in your home, you're using the electricity and gas, but mainly electricity in this instance, at the lowest possible rate. So when the grid is green and clean, you're using the power, but actually you're not using electricity when it's expensive. So taking that on, it's then looking at things like we have our fan club. If you live near one of our 4 wind turbines, you get 20% off your bill when it's going around, 50% off your bill when it's really going around. Or you could look at maybe getting solar and battery on your home or just solar. Actually, how do you generate locally to your home? Yeah. And then with the grants out there for heat pumps, it's then looking at, should I install a heat pump on my home? Will it work? And actually then tying it into the right tariff to make sure you're using it the most efficient way you can. Before
we came on today, I mentioned a little personal point that I would say is the two big factors that bother me are cost and space. Mm-hmm. And I suppose that's very true of a lot of people. You'll be lucky if you have a very large extended back garden where you can put a heat pump in there with a couple of meters spare around the outside. So there are factors there which block. They don't make it easy to get to the next level. So I guess with Octopus, is it important to offer us the ways out without complete hassle?
100%. Right. This is on us as an industry that make it really simple for you. Right. So a lot of people don't realise their mortgage companies are offering cashback opportunities and better mortgages if you install this technology. The problem being that
I've never heard of that.
Precisely. So only about 35% of UK homes have a mortgage, but then of those people getting a mortgage, about 94% are doing it through a broker. So you're not maybe thinking, oh, I will go to my mortgage company's website and see what deals they have on offer. So that's a big disconnect in itself. But in terms of actually helping, we actually realised that we needed to make a better heat pump. So we bought a company in Northern Ireland called Red, and we've taken that technology and turned it into our cosy heat pump. So it fires out the air at a 45-degree angle, not a 90-degree angle, and therefore actually it can sit tighter in space, has a closer back-to-back distance, both at the back of the of the heat pump and at the front, so it can sit in a tidier, cosier little space.
Yep.
In terms of then actually the cost, there are grants and loans available, and certainly the boiler upgrade scheme grant of 7,500 or 9,000 if you're on an oil property should really be taken up by as many people as possible.
So you've dealt with space.
Well, no.
Yeah.
There's still space inside the home. So
Yeah.
you're going to need, if you have a heat pump, you're going to need some way of storing the water inside the home.
Yeah.
We are working on that. We have an innovation centre in Slough, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
And to be perfectly honest, it's what got me to Octopus was I decided to take my entire village off oil by building a district heat network with an energy centre on the edge of the village. And I do think that is something that the government now is exploring more and more.
Okay.
So on the edge of the village, we have 108 boreholes, 200 metres deep. We have industrial air source, and we have a private wire to a solar farm about 8 kilometres away.
Yeah.
We use the ground source in winter, air source in summer, and we literally just pump water at 70 degrees in the road to people's homes. They don't need any additional infrastructure. And I do think for a lot of people, that will be the way forward as one of the many solutions out there.
This conversation is brought to you by Modular, the payment automation platform. And Modular automates how money moves, delivering the efficiency, the accuracy, and the reliability that your finance operations need to scale. Maybe housing associations, forward-thinking housing associations will be looking at potentially how to help their tenants with this as well. Now, if you're in high-density housing, if you're a tower block, it's probably feeling completely out of your reach. So how would you encourage that network, the housing associations, the people in flats and so on, way up on the 15th floor, to be able to access, to feel they're able to access something more low carbon?
It's 100% the most challenging house type we've got out there is apartments and flats. It's really difficult. Who owns the block? How much space have they got around it? What can you do in individual home? And actually, it's not just about heating the home in winter. It's actually about cooling it in summer as well.
Absolutely.
That's becoming an increasing issue. So to be honest, there are few options at the moment that are out there. You can get on a better tariff, a time of use tariff.
Yeah.
That would help bring down your bills. But there's some great technologies out there that are very simple. Things like shutters that go on the windows that really do help as well. So we're working on it, but I don't think anybody's got a perfect solution. No. Colleagues at Kenza are looking at ground source solutions if you've got the space to put the boreholes in. Increasingly, we've got big batteries. We've just done our first microgrid scheme in Epping. So the ability to store a big battery if you've got the space. But certainly, these solutions are needed. And I really do look to the industry. What have you got out there? What are you developing that could really help some of the most challenging properties, but also some of the most challenging households in terms of income levels and also fuel poverty?
I mean, it does give me hope. I just think there's a long way to go, isn't there? That's the thing. The ideas are great. It's just trying to make them happen for everybody, not just for people who have the space and have the money to do it. But I wonder, actually, from our audience here at the summit, any hands up if you've got any low carbon tech connected to your house directly. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and maybe a fifth. We have quite a few people here, so that's a really low amount, and that's understandable, and that's kind of probably as expected.
100%. Although electric car ownership is higher for most people
That's
in
true.
an audience like this, and that we would call the gateway into thinking about other things you can do to your home.
We'll do it. Electric cars. Anybody has? Yep. That's double, 3 times possibly the number of people. Yeah, absolutely.
Precisely. And I think once people understand how they flex their car and can use the different time of use tariffs, you can start to get your idea and understanding into maybe I could add a battery. And certainly vehicle to grid is the thing we think is really going to change in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
The ability to use your vehicle to run your house and vice versa in terms of flexibility.
It's really about bringing those parallel lines together again, particularly when there's a cost of living crisis for many years now, an energy crisis at the moment, second time in 4 years, and just there are more important things to think about, yet that still scratches away at the back of our minds that it's so important, especially this year is going to be a hot summer by current forecasts. So it's kind of becoming the front of our minds, and they don't meet in the middle, so that's interesting. One of the other things that needs to happen is the investors, the funders, and this is what you're doing really, is to try to get those to weigh up the benefits versus the costs, and try to get beyond the short-term gain. So how do we bring investment across the board in some ways into this field?
Yeah, I mean, I think the real issue is there are a lot of people doing the head scratching, and in particular housing associations have been thinking about this for a very long time.
Yeah.
So one of the ways we're actually helping generate a return and income stream is through a tariff we developed with Together Housing Group. So we developed it with them, with their tenants in mind, on the basis they're getting grants for solar and battery. So we can now sub-meter the tenant and offer them a third off their unit price of energy, but flex the battery and the solar, which many social landlords haven't done before, and give them a return, which means they've got some money to go and invest in other properties or use in other places around the housing association. So that is one way of doing it, and we can do that with other landlords as well to give a return on their investment. In terms of other investors coming in the market, we're seeing a lot of the BTR market now is coming in to provide rental accommodation, but they're wanting our zero bills proposition because they believe it adds value. But one of the big keys of unlocking, and it's work we're doing with the RICS, so I chair the professional group panel for residential section, is looking at value. Does this sustainability work we're doing on this property add value to the home? And we've now started the working group to look at that. So I do think that we've got to unlock it from a multiple of angles. Kit coming down, tariffs being right to bring the cost of actually running it down and better energy prices, but actually making investable propositions that investors do want to bring their money into. And it's a win-win for everybody and fair to all.
Yeah, and I can tell, I mean, one of the conversations we've had quite a lot during the summit this year is about the interconnectedness of different conversations. So, and I'm a small landlord, and I can't even think about, I don't make profit, never mind anything else. So can I invest? Where's the money coming from? So it's the knock-on effects, and that's the mortgage market, for example. So it's really important to have, I think, have a very wide conversation that hones in to the real points that everybody with a conscience who wants to go low carbon would like answers to. To have a conversation is really important right now.
I also agree. And also with UK SRS kicking in on the 1st of January, for the large investors, they have to do this now. They're looking at their scope 1, their scope 2, and their scope 3. And that is going to change much quicker where the money is thinking they're going to invest. So, you know, if you're buying a property, you'll be looking at with the eyes of, well, what can I do to improve it? If you're renting a property, you might be given more information about what your energy bills are looking like. So, and I think that's a real key thing, is that we need to think we're all on a journey. We're not all going to do everything straight away, but we are going to have to shift our lifestyles bit by bit. And it doesn't mean you have to be cold, and it doesn't mean you have to be out of pocket. It just means that you have to think about how you're going to go on that journey. Yeah,
and really get that conversation going. Final thing, let's bring out the crystal ball. Final question is, when this all goes well, when investors are investing, when people like yourselves are they're delivering great ideas to the market, what will the neighborhood look like? What will my average neighborhood look like in a few years? Are we going to be just like your village, you know, with lots of local sources of green energy? How could we be in, say, 5 years' time?
I would like to think greater energy resilience, closer to household level. But actually, the real aim of the game for me is eradicating energy bills for all our customers. That we've got such a great, flexible system that the lights stay on, homes stay warm, and it may be through many different types of technologies, but actually, we're just living happy lives and actually not really thinking about our energy bill or what's going on. It just has to be seamless and easy. Lovely. Emma, thanks for joining us. It's been great to have you with us. Thanks very much. Thank you. And for now, that's it from the Future of Utilities podcast. Great to have you with us too. See you next time.